So the other day I watched Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey for the first time, and I left a pretty negative review on my YouTube channel. And after leaving that review, I swore that I would never watch Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 because the first one was so bad it gave me absolutely zero hope for the next one. But I did a poll on my Instagram and asked what videos you guys wanted to see, and a couple of people said that they wanted to see me review Blood and Honey 2, and a couple of people told me it was so much better than the first one. And after watching Blood and Honey 2, I would like to apologize. I would like to apologize for the absolutely negative critic review that I gave on the first movie. I said that it was the worst movie I had ever seen, and I'm gonna be honest, I still stand by that, but I don't think that they deserved as much hate as they got from me because the second one was absolutely outstanding. Like I said, I had absolutely zero hope for this movie going into it, but as I was watching it, I was like, is this the right movie? Most things from top to bottom were actually really good, and so today we are going to go into my official review of Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. So without further ado, go ahead and grab yourself a snack and a drink, sit tight, and let's get into it. So Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 was actually released this year, and they had a $500,000 budget compared to the last movie having a $100,000 budget. This movie made just under the last movie in box office, with the newer one making $7.5 million and the first one making $7.7 million, and they have already stated that a 3 is in the works. So if they continuously get better with every film in the franchise, then 3 is going to be really good, because 2 was already up there, I'm not even gonna lie. So this movie opens up and shows us how Christopher ran away from the 100-acre wood after Winnie the Pooh massacred all of these people who were staying there in the cabin. Their bodies are eventually found in the woods, and everybody likes to blame Christopher for what happened because they do not believe that it was some random animal fairy tale. And another thing that's interesting about this second movie is they actually play as if the first movie was a movie made about the events that happened. So instead of this being 100% canon and connected to the first Winnie the Pooh film, they actually just completely rehauled the whole thing and acted like the first movie was a movie in the universe that was made about the events. So instead of Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 1, they kind of make it seem like it's just a movie made about this random guy in the woods who escaped, and he's telling people that these animals are the ones who were actually responsible for everything that happened. This doesn't do anything but tarnish Christopher's name even more, because a lot of people saw the movie and they think that Christopher killed these guys and then blamed it on these weird looking animals. While all this is going on, Winnie the Pooh and Piglet actually have to flee their home because it got burned down as people wanted to go and hunt them down, the few people that believed Christopher when he said that the animals were responsible for it. So they had to flee and go live with Tigger and Owl, which are two new characters that we are introduced to in this movie. Well, not new characters, but for the cinematic universe. Owl tells Pooh that instead of waiting for people to come to them in the woods, then they need to go to the town of Ashdown and just do everything themselves. They need to take these people out or they're not going to stop hunting them. So naturally, that's what they do. So Christopher is actually a doctor, and we find out a lot more details of Christopher's personal life. Number one, both of his parents are alive, and they do believe his story about what actually happened in the woods. Christopher has a little sister, and he also had a brother, but his brother was abducted at a child's birthday party. This sounds a lot like the exact same thing that happened in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, so I'm just kind of wondering where they got the inspiration for that one. And like I said, he is also a doctor, but he's not a doctor for long because the doctors actually hear word of everything that happened, and they let him know that just to save face, they need to let him go from the company. But before he leaves the hospital, he sees this janitor, and the janitor looks a lot like the guy that he thinks kidnapped his brother when they were children. This plays a big role later on in the movie. We'll get to that in just a second. Christopher has some friends who also believe his story. His friend Lexi looked like she could have been a love interest at any given moment. I'm not sure what the dynamic was that they were going with that. She kind of seems like a girlfriend at times, but then kind of like someone who's been in his life his whole life, and they have like this sibling thing going on. It's kind of weird. So that was a little bit of a loose end that I wasn't sure about. But bottom line, he does have some childhood friends who do believe him, and those friends are planning on doing a dance party. They want to do a rave. They want to get everyone talking about this Halloween instead of last Halloween when Winnie the Pooh went on his massacre. So obviously Christopher heard this and he said, you know what, I don't even want to be a part of it because you guys are a bunch of Sorry, Mom, I know you're probably watching this. I'll bleep that out for you. And Christopher didn't really say that, but that's basically what happened. So he gets out of there, and he's back at the hospital, and he sees this janitor again. So he follows this guy home, and he eventually gets into his house, and he confronts him, and he says, "You are going to tell me what happened. You're going to tell me what you did to my brother and where he is, or I am going to unalive you." This is when the janitor that he followed home reveals that years ago he had a lot of unsettled debts, those of which belong to a lot of very, very powerful people. So these people could get him gone at any moment, and he decided to team up with this weird scientist doctor guy, and the guy just wanted children, and in return he would pay off his debts. So the janitor just went around collecting children, and he saw this birthday party, and he collected some kids, and he brought them to the doctor for his debts to be paid off. This is when he tells us that the doctor was doing some weird hybrid experiments between turning humans and animals into humanimals. They didn't say that, I just made that up in my head. That was pretty good. Humanimals. And that is what happened to Christopher's brother. This is where we find out that the kids were buried, and when they came out of the ground, they were just these weird zombie animal humanimals, and his brother, who went missing when he was a kid, is Winnie the Pooh. I don't know about that one. It's okay. It's not a terrible plot line, but it's also really, really weird. So it's at this point where the janitor decides to unalive himself after telling Christopher everything that happened. So now it's nighttime, and back at the rave, we get one of the coolest kill sequences that I've seen in a modern horror movie. The kills in this movie are incredible. The gore in these scenes and the brutality, they are honestly comparable to something that we would see Art the Clown do in Terrifier. Please don't do it to me. The bottom line is Winnie the Pooh and Owl and Tigger, they are menaces, okay? They're not playing around. You'll honestly just have to look this scene up and watch it for yourself. It's really, really cool and really creative. Overall, it's just a really cool scene. So at this point, Christopher rushes into the warehouse where this rave is taking place, and he kills Tigger. This is also the point where he finds out that his little sister is missing after Pooh went into their home and massacred their parents. Not sure where his little sister is at this point. They don't really explain this. So after killing Tigger, him and Pooh eventually end up back in the 100-acre wood. It is at this point when Christopher and Pooh actually stumble upon the grave that Pooh, aka Billy, his little brother, was buried in during the whole humanimal thing. And obviously we have one moment where he just stares at the ground, and I guess a lot of memories are flashing back. But he snaps out of it quick, and he grabs Christopher, and he is about to choke the life out of this dude. Christopher's friend Lexi shows up, or girlfriend Lexi, or basically brother-sister Lexi, I'm not really sure right now. She shows up and she distracts Pooh, and Christopher hits him in the head with an axe, and that's the end of Pooh. He falls back into his grave, he's done for, there's no coming back. So at this point, they have CCTV footage of Winnie the Pooh and these animals going on this massacre in the city, and the police obtain it, and they also have Christopher's little sister. They found her unharmed, I don't know where. But with this footage, they are able to clear Christopher's name of any wrongdoing, since they have now seen that the weird humanimals are the ones who are responsible for the massacre. So all is well in the world. Christopher and his sister are safe. They are being taken back home. But we forgot one very crucial part, and that is Owl. Owl is still alive. He has not died. So he goes around and he collects the bodies of Piglet and Pooh and Tigger. I forgot to mention, Piglet died like at the very beginning of the movie. But yeah, he recovers all of these dead bodies and brings them back to the lair. And apparently, dripping honey on them or something will resurrect them and heal them and bring them back to life. So we get this small dialogue as the credits roll where Owl is showing the dead animals, and he says, "I will find a way to bring you back and we will finish what we started." So they just start regenerating and healing and growing new body parts that they have lost. And it looks like this is going to be the setup for the third movie. So when they come back, they could possibly be stronger than before, or anything for that matter. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, a third movie is confirmed, so we are just gonna have to wait and see. My honest opinion on this movie, compared to the first Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, I think that this one is an absolute masterpiece. The kills are incredible. They had much better actors and actresses this time around. Just everything about this and the way they explained everything, it just made so much more sense than the first movie. I also like how the animals look completely different and they look a lot more evil and mean. They did an incredible job with that part. So all in all, I would give this movie movie a solid good review. And would I tell you to go and watch this movie if you haven't seen it? Of course I would tell you to go and watch this movie. Like I said, the first Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey was bad, okay? But I gave them so much hate, I honestly feel bad. And this is a good review because I think that the second one was a good movie. And I'm not just saying that because I feel bad. It was genuinely a good movie. If you guys have seen Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. And as always, if you did enjoy this video, then please be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you're gonna subscribe to the channel, then you might as well click the notification bell because that's right, it is literally right there. My name is Haydxn. It was an absolute pleasure having you here on the channel, and as always, I will be sure to see you guys in the very next video. Peace!